In the last series, we reported on how some car seats were causing serious back pain. Judging by the letters we received, the item seemed to touch a nerve. It appears it was a more sensitive subject than we first realised. Some of the people who contacted us wouldn't speak to us on camera because negative comments made about the comfort of a particular company car made in public could mean that a fleet buyer would no longer be able to do a cosy and lucrative deal with that particular manufacturer. In fact, one viewer was told that if he wanted to keep his job, he should keep his mouth shut.
Personal choice is very important here. If there's a company policy where you can choose the manufacturer, you can actually choose a car to fit you. If you're a fleet manager for a company, then obviously you're very concerned with cost. I think there's one big hidden cost, and that's the problems that arise from having a car that doesn't fit everybody. Our research from a survey of 600 members of the general public, we found that those who drove more than 4 hours a day actually had 6 times as many days off work with sickness absence due to low back trouble.
So why, after a century of car making, is back pain still a problem?
One of the things that makes us very different from chimpanzees and apes is that we walk upright on 2 legs. The crucial point is that our spines are designed for movement, and therefore sitting for long periods in a car seat goes against the very basis of their design and, not surprisingly, leads to backache.
You can't argue with 7 million years of evolution, and sitting in a car was always going to be an alien environment. But are car designers doing enough to ease our pain?
Car seat design still comes traditionally last in the design process. It starts with the styling and engineering, which obviously are of great importance. And then within that volume that has been designed by the styling and engineering, we have to fit people in. And in fact, the seat designer has no say really on headroom or legroom, where the controls are for comfortable reach, where the displays are for easy viewing. And he or she is trying to design a comfortable seat, which often is impossible because the basic posture is very bad in the first place.
Seats like these provide good driver support and comfort, but the majority of us don't have these fitted as standard in our cars. It does seem that car design is very much still style-driven, and driver comfort comes a poor second. But there are ways we can help ourselves.
What you should be looking for is to have 3 main areas. The head restraint must be movable, so in other words, to adapt to your height. The second thing is to make sure that the actual backrest can be moved as well. And the third thing is to make sure that the actual seat base can be moved. What I tell patients is to actually sit themselves in the car seat and, with the elbows extended and the wrist extended, to pop their hands on the steering wheel and then just to relax themselves down. That is one of the correct positions for sitting in the car seat. The second thing is to actually have the backrest so that it's not totally upright, so in other words, tilted slightly backwards. And the last thing I usually say is to make sure that the actual knee angle is more than 90 degrees.
Now, this particular seat looks perfectly normal. It is, in fact, on the very cutting edge of seat design. It's actually called adaptive seating. All the manufacturers are looking at seats like this. It's run by a computer, so you'd switch it on like this. It's a bit like sitting on a whoopee cushion. It feels very strange and it makes this rather odd noise. Effectively, the computer is filling all the air cells inside it with air. It overinflates initially and then deflates to fit around your body, and that happens every 4 minutes. So effectively, what makes a seat comfortable is that it changes all the time with your body position. It might be a little distracting, but that's the future. But for the present, we can help ourselves to make sitting in a car more like a soak in the bath rather than a pain in the neck.
When you come to choose your next car, take it very seriously. Your long-term health could be at risk. Make sure you choose a car that fits you, and in fact, any member in your family who might need to drive at the weekends.
The main thing is to actually have regular breaks. For example, every 3/4 of an hour, every hour, to stop in a motorway lay-by, have a plod around the car, and then to get back in it again. If you're actually sitting in the car seat and there's no way of actually getting out of the car, is to just have a gentle move around so that you're actually not keeping the back completely immobile. It's what's called active sitting.
It's very, very important that you're comfortable after an extended test drive of at least 2 hours. I believe it's essential that you get that test drive and that it shouldn't cost you. It should be free of charge.